Hey guys, this is me coming to you from a different angle in my studio today. I just wanted to change things up and I wanted to make things easier for me to make videos here on YouTube. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or you have my newsletter, you know that winter is coming here in Australia and I don't deal with the cold. I don't want to spend tons of time editing and changing setup, the lighting and all of that. So this is great for me because I just got my little iPhone facing me. I've got my notes on my screen here so I can just deliver the messages to you from my heart and make these videos for you as easy as possible for me, for you and me. All right, so in today's video, it's called the 5 game-changing things that I did for my watercolor journey that made me a better artist, more confident artist, that helped me grow in my skill. And I hope you take these advice, or maybe you resonate and you're already doing it. Let me know. Okay, number 1, consistency. I know this is boring. You probably heard it to death, but painting every day, painting often is more important than painting the perfect painting once a month. I know we all have busy lives, plenty of things to do, but here are some sub-tips I want to give you on how you can paint consistently. Number 1, make sure that your painting desk or your painting area is easily accessible in your home. For me, I started painting during the COVID lockdown, so I was home all the time. My kids were home all the time. I had to cook and clean and do all the things that mom does. But every time I had like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I would go to my painting station. So I set up a little desk in my living room where everything was out all the time. I didn't need to keep it away. And I had my little laptop, or is it an iPad, that I could play my YouTube video, my tutorial, and just paint every moment I got. This is the way that I got painted a lot and often, and it really, really helped me grow. I have so many videos here on my YouTube channel that shows you my progress from when I started painting and now. Please go ahead and check it out. Having a painting area that's easy for you to access on a daily basis is really one of the biggest, this is the biggest thing that was a game changer in my watercolor journey. If I had to set up and put away every single time, I would not be painting. I honestly won't. Actually, right now, because I have my studio separate from my living area, I actually do not paint as often as I would if it was in my painting area. But now this painting thing is also work for me, and that's why I actually come in here to paint often. But if painting is not your job, if you're not a professional artist, have a painting station in your living area. It will mean the world. And that's the thing about watercolor. You don't need to set up or clean up. It's not like oil where, some things are toxic. You got to clean up each time. Everything is super easy. Just get a spray bottle, re-wet your palette, and get going straight away. So that is the first way to be consistent. Secondly, make sure that your supplies are not so precious that you won't want to use them consistently. So if you use very expensive paper and you're still just starting out on your practice, you might not want to waste that paper on a daily basis. So I always tell my beginner artists, if you have that thing that like stinginess inside of you like I do, don't need to use amazing paper right away. Make sure you use the paper you can afford. However, that said, Meaden has amazing watercolor paper that's 100% cotton, and it is comparable to some of the cellulose brands out there, trust me. And I have a code, Crystal15, that gets you 15% off 100% cotton Meaden watercolor paper. The link is in the description below. All right, enough of that, but that is a really good deal. I believe a 9x12 pad of Meaden watercolor paper is just 30 Australian dollars, which makes it about maybe $1.50 per paper, per sheet. So that's pretty good for cotton. That said, make sure that all your supplies, you don't feel like you are being wasteful. All right, the third way I got consistent was that I started to share my art on Instagram. Yes, that's it. I opened an Instagram account that it was exclusive for me and my art, separate from my family, separate from my, friends. And I started to upload all my paintings that I did every day. I tagged the tutorial and the teacher that I learned it from, and I was able to see my progress grow on Instagram. And the best thing about Instagram, the art world on Instagram, is that everyone is just so amazing. You get to meet people online, people who have the same passion, the same style that you like, the same subject, and we get to share our art with each other, cheer each other on. That is a really, really wonderful way for me to keep coming back to painting every day, because I feel like, oh, I need to upload something today. Don't let it pressure you to, don't give you stress. If you start to feel stressed about it, then, it might be different for you. But for me, it was really a joyful way to share my art, to share my progress with the world. Now, if you feel like you don't dare to share, if you're feeling like a bit of a fear in your heart, like, my painting is not good enough to share, people might laugh at my work, I say to you, that is the most ridiculous thing in the world, because how can you be an expert or be amazing at something when you just started painting, when you just started doing something? You are allowed to be, to not be perfect. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be all crazy and not an expert in that around at all. So if you want to, you can scroll in my Instagram all the way back when I started about 4 or 5 years ago. You will see how wobbly I was, but that didn't stop me because I was a beginner. I wanted to share where I was. The beautiful thing about watercolor, to me anyway, is even though you are a beginner, there's a magic of watercolor that is so forgiving, and that mistakes are embraced, and it's gonna be awesome anyway. All right, so that's a long first point. All right, consistency. Let's go on to the next one. The next tip I want to share with you is very important. It is actually to just follow your instincts and follow your intuition as into what you want to paint next. So unlike going to a normal art class, let's say you sign up for art class in college or in an art school or even just at your community center, the teacher will have a kind of a set program for you. Like you paint this, and then you paint this. And you might not enjoy painting everything that the teacher says, and you might not resonate with all the steps needed. The best thing about learning art on your own, being self-taught, is that you can go online and paint exactly what interests you at any moment. So the interwebs are so amazing that way. Like if you feel like painting daffodils today, you can just Google daffodils, watercolor art, boom, and you can paint that. If you feel like a landscape for some reason, go and learn that. When you follow your intuition, you are following this internal gut system that tells you what it is you love and what it is that you're drawn to, and you will get better and better at it if you keep following it. Of course, there's a fine line where you should sometimes go into that discomfort zone on pushing yourself to learn something new. But I think by and large, 80% of the time, you should be just following your intuition and following what brings you joy, following what brings you happiness, following what brings you into that beautiful flow state. And not just the subject matter, but follow the teachers that you resonate with. For me, it is so important to follow the teachers that I resonate with. Some beautiful artwork that I see out there, and I sometimes listen to their tutorials, and it's sometimes just not for you. You just know it for me, when the teachers are like very rule-based and very strict and like you have to do it this way and you're not meant to do it that way, that's when I kind of switch off and I go, not the teacher for me. So follow your intuition in terms of teacher, subject, medium, everything. And you will be able to grow your art, not just your skill, but also your passion and your love for it. So intuition is number 2. Follow it, and you will be you won't be disappointed. All right, and the third one I want to share with you is, ironically, to take a break from tutorials when you feel the urge to. Okay, so for me, I was like taking tutorial after tutorial furiously at the start because I wanted to absorb all the knowledge, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything from how to wash my brush to how to pick a color to all of that. So I followed many tutorials and I picked up all these skills along the way. But there came to a point where I felt like, I just want to be empowered to paint something I know from a reference or not following step by step. And it was a scary world to navigate. But the only way I could do it was to just do it. Okay, I know it sounds crazy, like maybe you want to take a course on how to use a reference photo to paint, and I tried looking for it, and in my tutorials on my Patreon, all my videos, all my tutorials have a reference photo, and you can see how I do it. But how I do it, I actually didn't learn from any real teacher, I just did it. And this is where the intuition really kicks in. So all the knowledge that you pick up from the tutorials it's just sitting in our bodies, sitting in our minds, and pick up a reference photo and just start. All right? Some tips I can give you right now: start from the first main flower, the biggest subject. Just go into that and just copy and just put down the colors that you see, find the shadows and replicate that. Apart from using reference photo, another really powerful way to just become a better artist is to paint from real life. And getting flowers from your garden or from the market, putting it on the table, and you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna translate this 3D into 2D? And you know how to do it? You just do it. You just do it. That's how I did it. I just looked at it and I go, okay, I'm just going to go petal by petal, stem. You take it step by step. Don't rely and don't need someone to tell you how to do it. You just got to do it. A lot of artists just feel the urge to replicate something and they just do it. And that's where you discover so much and you learn so much from growing this way. So ironically, because I'm a Patreon teacher, so I teach tutorials on my channel, on my Patreon, but I'm telling you, go ahead and try to paint from non-tutorials. Just take the leap, go paint something and just jump into it. Don't need the you don't need that guidance and that like, oh, you got to do this first step, second step, because you've done enough tutorials. Trust yourself. And if you really want to see how I do it, I have all my tutorials have references and you can see how I approach it. And check out my Patreon if you like. We also paint live together once a month. But yeah, that is tip number 3. Okay, tip number 4 is to have a sketchbook practice. So if you know me and you follow me here on YouTube, I have lots of sketchbook tours, and a sketchbook practice is one of the things that I do on a regular basis. And this is actually a subsection of consistency because, and why I say sketchbook is when we paint in our sketchbook, I feel like I am not pressured to paint a finished painting. The sketchbook is not going to go on the wall. It's not going to be gifted as a friend. I'm not going to sell it because it's in a sketchbook. I mean, unless I cut it up and stuff. But the sketchbook is a place for me to play, for me to experiment, for me to relax, for me to swatch as well. And I like to have several sketchbooks on the go because when I'm on a roll, I like to just go. And sometimes I can paint 4 paintings in 4 different sketchbooks in one session, and that really, really brings me joy. So having a sketchbook practice is really was integral for me to push and to experiment and to play more. For some reason, I just do. I just play more. I use different supplies. I love to bring out my gold, my neo colors, my color pencils, and all the different things. I go crazy in the background, and I make a lot of rubbish paintings on my sketchbook. Sometimes I have pages where it's just muddy and weird, but it doesn't matter. It's a place for us to be imperfect, to play, to experiment, to take risks. So sketchbook practice was a game changer, number 4. And finally, number 5, I call it documenting. Documenting and sharing my work. So this is part also of how I'm going to talk about like the whole Instagram, sharing my art. It has been important for me to document and to mark my progress because I feel like I paint, but then I also like to comment on my painting and the process and what I learned, what I didn't learn. And I use Instagram for this a lot. I'll be like, I didn't like this so much. I love this so much. I like this color. I didn't like that color. For some of you, it could be a note in the sketchbook or under the painting, in a journal, an art journal, that you can say, I like doing this. I didn't like doing this. And then not just documenting, but also sharing. So sharing my art with the world was a really, I mean, if I didn't share my art, to be honest, I don't know if I would be motivated to keep going. I am the kind of person that love validation, and a kind of person that love to be seen. I'm maybe an extrovert by nature, perhaps. And I'm not saying that only extroverts will love this, but I feel like if I just painted for myself in isolation, without people saying to me, "This is great. I really resonate with this." I don't know if I would be where I am today, because I think as human beings, as creatives, there's a part of us that need to share, that need to, connect with other humans and to have other humans' eyeballs look at our art. And this is also another way that I do this is I've joined an art society in my local area called YAVA, Yarra Valley Arts. And through YAVA, I was able to exhibit my art, participate in some of their shows. I was part of the recent Melbourne Flower Show in the city, and I had 3 paintings that was part of an exhibition, and all 3 paintings sold. And I don't know how much, I really can't tell you how much I'm so excited about that. Also, I did open studios, which is a way for me to share my art with the world, where for a weekend, people can come to my studio and see my art, buy my art, and that just gave me so much good energy, knowing that, my art is out there, shared with the world. And also, I did markets. I haven't done it in a while now because I have moved my house and all that, but I will want to go back to be in a physical place where people can walk by and get stopped and look at my art. That just made me sort of like go, it's all worth it, right? When you can share your version of beauty or your innate, like, creative soul with the rest of the world, it is a game changer for me. So that's it. That's my 5 tips or 5 things that were game changer for me in my whole artistic journey so far. I've been painting here for about 4 or 5 years now, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I'm just at the beginning. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments which of these you really resonate with, which you think you want to do more of, and any additional game changers that happened for you. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.